I see no clip, man.
It was all black for you. Cool. Hey, we're live. Hey, buddy.
Hey, and we're live. Crazy. Let me see if I can make my. I think it's playing there. Hold on. See if I can turn it off or turn it on. It's a failure of epic proportions.
This is the tech.
This is it, man. All right, we may have to. I don't know how to fix this, dude. Let me try.
Well, I don't understand what you're trying to fix. Like we were both on the screen, and now we're gone.
Yeah, I know, dude. I push the go live button on my screen. I just have nothing. Do you see yourself? I don't see myself.
Yeah. I see you, and I see me, and we're right beside each other.
So this might be like a boomer problem, right? Like I'm a boomer. Almost.
I think that could be true.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the screen. I just have big black screen. That's all I got.
Refresh. But yeah, we're this looks normal now. Now there's a giant squirrel with a lightning rod.
Okay, so you guys will see that. I might have to come out and come back in. All right. You stay here. I'll be right back.
Okay. Technical problems, people. Crispy will be right back, and everything will be better than new. In the meantime, let's talk PulseChain, HEX, core tokens, meme tokens, whatever you want. Throw your questions in the chat. We may get to them. No promises, but we'll try. The big news. Oh, Crispy's back.
You popped me, man. Hey, big A now. I'm back.
And can you see me? Because I can see you, sir.
I can see you. You're now at the beach. Nice. I want to go to the beach. So. All right, man. Take it away.
Okay. So the big news that we've been talking about, and that has been talked about on other channels, is that for what was it? 5,401 ETH was removed from the PulseChain SAC wallet, and has made its way into Tornado Cash. And there's wild speculations about what those funds could do. Are they are they going to buy tablets?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something. Nothing's going to happen with it. Is that sacrilegious to say?
Sacrilegious. I see what you did there. What you did.
I'm trying to do
I'm totally going to steal that for the next footer on one of my posts.
I didn't even know how to use that word, but you guys, somebody out there can correct me. Yeah. So a lot moved, man. A lot of value moved from the SAC wallet.
$25 million plus at today's ETH prices.
Yeah, there's lots of speculation with that being used for, isn't it?
Yep.
But maybe it's all going to get swapped into HEX and stake Quattro.
That would be pretty interesting. Now it gets swapped into HEX. That would have a positive impact on the price of HEX. But I would suspect it would be a more measured response if it gets moved onto PulseChain or whatever used to buy up Richard Heart tokens. I think it would be a measured response that likely would touch more than one thing, and that wouldn't happen all at once. That'd be my.
Well, this is all on Ethereum right now, right?
It was the last time we saw it, but it went into
Johnny says it's the front door, baby. Maybe it goes in through the front door and out the back.
Could be. The front door being HEX on Ethereum?
I don't think that would be the case, but it's certainly one scenario, right? Possibility.
Yep. Johnny mentioned in another chat, and I'll steal his ideas because that's what I do. That
Sami who? You say Sami?
Oh, Johnny.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no Sami. I don't even know that.
No. Yeah. We don't speak to him anymore. But Johnny,
I love
he said it takes only a third of the economic power to pump EHEX as PHEX. So I could see that being a thing, maybe. If Richard loves EHEX a third as much as he loves PHEX, we could see them both get pumps.
Yeah, it probably. I mean, in measured amounts, it probably is an okay methodology. See, I don't know what the master plan is. I don't even know if there is a master plan, but probably would not deliberately pump EHEX in order to pump the entire chain. I would only pump EHEX in order to pump EHEX. Period. That would be the purpose. Because there's just too much slippage, too much value going away. Getting whisked away by the ARBs and the MEVs and limit orders. Why do that? Right? You want to conserve as much value as possible while the charts moving up.
Yeah, not give it away to bots, or expert arbitragers that are going to move cross chain. I think the money would make its way to PulseChain is the most obvious thing if it was being used for a pump.
I haven't seen has anybody brought Sky over yet?
Nobody's talked about it.
Right? Because Sky's the replacement. The Sky's the replacement for DAI, right?
Yeah, it's the replacement with a freeze option and those kind of centralized control things that make it a less decentralized stablecoin.
Yeah. Well, what makes me think about that is we do have a rather limited amount of DAI. Last time I checked, it was around 20 million that's been bridged over.
Yep.
And 60 to 75% of that, again, is just an estimate, not deployed. So another angle on this whole thing with the SAC wallet is perhaps it'll come over as DAI. Perhaps it'll come over as DAI and to be put to use. Now, again, that wouldn't be a great way either, by the way, because it's not the worst way. I guess we'd have to go look at it. If you're trying to bring value over to pump something on PulseChain, I guess it really depends on the size and what you're going after. So maybe DAI might be the best way to pump.
Yeah, like you're still opening yourself up to arbitrage bots. Like if, just for example, if somebody were to deploy 25 million in DAI on PulseChain, the price of DAI on PulseChain would go down a lot. I think to nearly nothing, actually. Let me
well, they would have to put it in the pools if they were going to do something with it. Right? If it came over as DAI, and I guess it depends. If it came over as DAI and then it was swapped for something else, it would definitely affect the DAI price.
Very, very, very significantly.
Yeah,
because it's just a token on PulseChain.
Yeah, it could only, but people would arb it back up because it's still worth a buck. But you would have to probably be doing 1% to 2% of the liquidity pool at a time.
Yeah, like if I just threw it into PulseX, 25 million in DAI, I want to buy PulseX, and out of my 25 million in DAI, I only get 1.8 million of PulseX. So that's a lot of slippage. But like a measured plan obviously would be to do it over time, probably to involve multiple different tokens like other stable coins, access every liquidity pool, or to use Ethereum directly, and but like not to not to wreck the price of that asset and just feed arbitrage bots.
Yeah. As I see Ro up here. Ro says, "Call me crazy. I'm still buying." What are you buying?
Indeed, do tell.
It could be a lot.
I think people are crazy not to buy right now. I'm actually amazed. I've done several posts about my amazement with people not buying, core tokens right now, despite the general information that we have available. Like we have Pulse at 4032. It's crazy.
People are tired, and they may not have a lot of value. So there's that, and then this is always the way it is. You gotta have to have this over commitment to the idea it's really gonna pump. And of course, if it does pump, and after it pumps, everybody like, I should have put that extra 1,000. It would have been 100,000 now, and you're like, because that's really what you're trying to swing, right? In my mind, anyways, you're looking for 100x on something for that course, right? And I don't know if that'd be the number, but it's. It's kind of like in the ballpark, 50, 100x or something. I'd have to ask myself, am I happy with my units today? And, and if I'm not, $500 deployment, $1,000 deployment into a core expressly with the idea that I'm taking profit on it, right? But everybody has a different situation. They got to figure this stuff out. But yeah, all my indicators are coming back that right now is an excellent time to be able to buy. You've seen some. You might have seen some of the stuff I'm putting in the chat.
Yep.
So
Now, you're talking about technical indicators, your golden ratio, etc., right? I'm talking about rumors and news and watching 25 million disappear from the sack bag into tornado cash. Like those
that's
are the
upside.
indicators I'm interested in.
That's the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the upside. The speculative stuff. What I'm talking about is even without even knowing that, the charts are saying this is a great time to buy the cores, right? And but the hell do I know? It's been a long 4 years.
When we look at like the recent lack of action, despite what I see as incredibly bullish news, that I almost thought I shouldn't share because it was too bullish. I think that kind of indicates that we do have that level of exhaustion that you're talking about, right? Like people are tired, and the sellers are, most of the sellers have sold. Most of the buyers, like within the echo chamber, aren't buying anymore, right? Like we're getting into flatline territory, which makes it a great time to pump the chain.
Yeah. Well, that is it's always hard when you're in the middle of it to actually understand it and see it, I think. But that's exactly what it looks like. And there's never only one time, right? It's never only one bottom. There's one that somebody will call the bottom. There's always a bunch of them, right? A bunch of these little plateaus where people get shook.
Agreed.
Happens in all the cryptos, not just this. Because you got to be at the because you still can't escape. That dog keeps barking. Man. My wife does that on purpose. Not that my wife's the dog, but she makes the dog. I get a frying pan to that. But yeah, this is what happens with crypto, and you can't get away from the fact that prices go down when people sell. It's just how it is. I mean, there's very few things, except for Johnny Chaos's coin. There are very few things that don't go down when you sell.
Yeah, Johnny in general is a special case, as is his coin. I think there's upsides and downsides to all those things.
That's why he has special effects.
True.
All right, was that deployment's pretty good. What else you got?
There was a recent Richard Hart tweet. Maybe I'll just share it for authenticity here. If I can figure out the tech.
You push the button and it shares on the screen. Oink.
Bang. So Richard is posting about, he's giving us some more details on the marketing. So he says that 700,000 tablets have now been donated. So there's, these are coming in containers from China. Only 100K have been given away already. So I think this number is going to be much bigger than 700,000 myself, but I can't say for sure. But only 100K have gone out, and that we haven't, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg, even just based on the 700,000 he talks about here. He also gives us some numbers. So he talks about 700,000 LCD tablets, about 10,500,000 value. If you do the math on that, that's $15, right? Which is cool.
I see.
Then if you go on to, he goes on to talk about, should we put them on Amazon for sale? Should we give them out, presumably for free to influencers to raffle off, etc. He's asking for suggestions on what to do with them. So I think the Amazon thing is a good idea. I didn't at first, but Johnny swayed me. There'd be some residual marketing there, but I think it's a good idea for the community. Oh, and look, he's helped us with the math. He's put one on here for $14.99 right here. Look at that. But I think if they were on Amazon, then community members, and it'd be 99% community members, would buy them up and then use them to, either make cool posts, cool memes, or to give them away to foster adoption in a grassroots word of mouth type way. And I think putting a minimal price like $15 is better than just giving them away for free to certain people who are approved or what have you, who may or may not ever open the box. You add a value to something, people put their money where their mouth is. And yeah, if you want to give one to your buddy, yeah, buy it off Amazon. And then those funds could go to buying more tablets, and we can, keep it rolling. Build a giant pyramid of tablets. What do you think?
I love you wall to wall. Well, maybe I love you. I don't know. I guess I don't know you for sure. Guys, this kind of stuff makes me laugh.
Patience.
I mean, it's like either you truly don't know what the hell you're talking about, or you're trolling. It doesn't matter either way. But hey, the thing about this is with the tablet strategy is it's not going to be a fast turnaround. The fastest turnaround we're getting is the fact that you get these people posting, right? I mean, you're doing these interviews with Kim and Empress and what's the dude's name who
Gabriel.
Gabriel. I mean, those things.
Yeah.
Those types of
things.
And
like it's just starting. It's going to take time, but like there hasn't been very much time that's elapsed. Like 100,000 out of I think 10 million have gone up. Like why are we complaining?
Yeah, I'm all for good banter and stuff, and I get that people actually do feel this way, and they have some negative thoughts and stuff, but it's way too early to call it a failure. Yep. I mean, I saw a whole bunch of that online as well. And, whenever I always see it, I put my Game of Thrones hat on. I literally have a Game of Thrones hat. Anyways, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, now, why would somebody on PulseChain say this? And why would Richard say it? And why would, put different hats on? Like, why would Richard be the one behind telling everybody it's a failure? I'm not saying he is. I'm saying, why would he do that? Why does Wall TV do it? Why do these other new accounts do it? Where did they come from with no history? Anyways, it's just there's always this big mashup of you just wonder how much is just concerned individuals that have really strong opinions.
Yeah, versus just being somebody's alt account who is feeling spicy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those popping up. I have all these accounts that I get commenting. They often have a PulseChain or HEX, mention in their name or in their profile somewhere. But then when I look at their profile, it's like created August 2025. They list and repost 5 or 6 things that are derogatory about the chain, and then they're trying to draw attention to themselves in some way with their 7 followers, and I just get confused about why they're doing this, or who they actually are, because it's clearly not that person who made that account a month ago with very specific things.
Well, it could be. There's a lot of bot activity. There really is bot activity out there.
Okay.
But anyways, regardless, the point I was going to make, some people really do feel pretty negative about stuff. I would just say that it's going to take some time to prove out the marketing. That's all. And near as I can tell, I can't tell you dollar for dollar it's successful because I don't know the dollars, right? And there's probably no way to track it. But I would tell you that it looks successful to me so far because more people that didn't know about it are talking about it. And I guess the fact that people are still ragging on it, that's positive too. Because you get that negative.
I was very happy with the interview that Triplet and I did with Kim Tran today. She was great. I even had people accusing me on Twitter of her being a plant, right? Like it being scripted, right? I was like, no, I've never met
she was like, she was like a normal person. I was listening, watching. I don't know if somebody posting. I was like listening to her, and I'm like, yeah, she's just like the rest of us, man. Like, and everybody comes to it their own way. Like way back at the beginning, like why crypto? Do you even crypto, bro? Why? I mean, like you got to get past those first kind of push buttons of like why. It's all a scam. It's all a scam, man. It's arbitrage. Right.
I've had that discussion for sure.
Yeah, and then you gotta get past that point. It's like, well, no, wait a minute. There's other stuff out here. Like there's real utility. Well, what is it? Well, I can go gamble, man. I can bet. Shout out to Solid X. an X game launching soon on a chain near you, man. But when I say gamble, I mean everything's a gamble in crypto. You know, in that we are trying. I do truly believe this. I think a lot of people did get behind Richard for this fact. We are trying to jump the shark. We're trying to bring crypto to a new level and to make it not be just what it is. And by trying to blaze trails, things like the CD product market fit of HEX, and et cetera, et cetera. But until we actually do jump the shark, where crypto, meaning crypto, really gets integrated into real life, you know, we're playing the speculation game. Richard's explained it a bunch of times.
Wild West. I'll give you that for sure. But like, you see different elements of it, and I think what you see on PulseChain is a more pure form that's not designed to wreck the average guy in the same way as we see on Solana, for example.
I don't agree with you on that. However, I do think that I do like our community environment much better than the other environments that I see out there, because I think they are even rougher with even less resources. At least here we do have groups of people that, in my opinion, right, that are trying to do things like one of the first things we just talked to Kim about was hardware wallet, baby. You know why? You know, not your keys, not your crypto. You know, and ultimately, you know, managing it yourself, being your own bank, etc. We're trying to get back to the base ethos.
I think she was really engaged with those kind of, you know, like security narratives and with the decentralized, like, you know, be your own bank stuff. Like she had good questions. It was almost we almost had trouble explaining because we're too deep in, but she did a good job asking the questions.
Yeah. I don't know. I probably feel like people hear me talk and it sounds like I don't like crypto. Man, I do. Like I'm here. I'm waiting for to jump the shark. You know, and I'll participate and help build the community as long as I can. You know, because ultimately, it does transmute. I think, and I don't have the words to really explain it well, but we get big enough, it transmutes into something new. Like, for instance, crypto in general, maybe people still a little iffy about what it is, but Bitcoin's made some strides over 15 years, right?
Huge.
You know, and, you know, today, I think I was reading, was a Fidelity, IRAs and whatnot. So they're getting really close to, man, you know, Bitcoin. I can get Bitcoin on everything, man. I got 10 apps on my phone. I can have Bitcoin on it. When I started, I couldn't even find Bitcoin. It was a dirty.
You can buy Bitcoin at the supermarket from an ATM looking machine. There's all kinds of weird ways you can get.
Yeah, so I digress. I mean, I'm just kind of like going through my head, like, why crypto and how did we get here? And how long will it take for things to change? Yeah, okay. I'm willing to sit this out for another, sit with this for another 15 years. That's why Quattro Cinco makes so much sense to me, babe. Every time I see a movie, I go,
something's going to happen.
Every time I see a movie or something and it's dated, like 2012, I was like, you son of a bitch. If you had just gotten 100 Bitcoin right then, for $1, like, why, because I can remember these movies and stuff that I went to go see, or whatever, pick some other event. And, I can remember being alive and around then. Why didn't I get more Bitcoin, right? So then you start thinking about, well, why didn't I, right? And we've had this conversation before. It's the same thing with PulseChain. 15 years from now, I do believe PulseChain is so big. And it's going to be like $2,000, $3,000 a token. And people will go nuts. They're going to be like, why didn't I hold it? I don't know. God will. Why didn't you hold it? Pseudo Pulse God will. Why didn't you hold it? It's going to be Fast Abdul and wall-to-wall TV. They'd be the ones with all the pulse.
I look forward to those conversations one day. Yeah. Back when Pulse was 3 zeros or 4 zeros and a 3, you had an opportunity, right? Like, what are you doing now that it's $2 each, right?
I remember when it was 1.2 million Pulse. per ETH. That's even a lot.
Yep.
That's still a lot right there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're not there yet. We can't. There's no bragging about that yet. But
No,
I hope there will be someday soon.
It will be. I don't know, dude. So much of this is outside of my control. I try to focus on, meaning I can't control what the hell everybody's doing. Don't want to, can't.
I'm with you, but so we can try. We can do what we can, right? And obviously, you and I stream and do things, but we also we have opportunities.
Yeah. Circle of influence stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, Richards started asking people for advice. Now, whether he takes the advice or not is unknown. But he's asking about things in crypto that he's touching and how we can improve it. So I think there's an opportunity to just respond to Richard.
Yeah, I saw that. I almost responded on a couple of them, but then I saw all my points already covered. So I was like, I don't even need to respond.
I rarely read other people's responses. There's always such a mess underneath his tweets. It must drive him nuts.
Yeah. Well, I look because, well. Oh, did you have something you want me to share?
Yeah, I was going to share my response and see if I could actually get some feedback.
I didn't
from
notice
you.
it was up there.
I just put it up. Here, let me. So, like, this is in response to Richard's tweet about the marketing materials. And like I commented on, like, okay, the message on the outside, maybe there could be a message inside the package as well. Perhaps a walkthrough or just some other thing to entice people. I like the Amazon thing. I said that, but this is the part I want to talk to you about to see if you had any ideas. Is that the concept of the targeting? And I was thinking about this today, and I think that there must be more than what I checked off here. So, like, which people to hit with these packages. We can figure out the how to hit them after, but, like, to decide who are your targets, who are most likely to take action or to learn more, to reach out to others, to do things that improve the effectiveness of the marketing, or become buyers, right? And this is my list. I want to see what you think. So, obvious one, people who are already in crypto. So you're already in crypto, you're more likely to buy crypto. I was blown away by Kim, so I put that as like a concept, like people in tech. Like, she worked in tech, she worked for Apple. I think that made it easier for her to understand what we were doing, even though she's never done any sort of DeFi whatsoever. She's able to pick it up.
I like that being high in your list because I think that people assume that just because there are a lot of people in tech that they understand crypto, and they don't necessarily understand. Right?
No, like she was aware of crypto because she was in tech, but she didn't innately understand what we do, what DeFi is, centralized versus decentralized. But she was capable of learning, whereas it would be like a bigger gap for probably the roofing industry, for example.
We got some people like that know a lot about roofing.
What do you think of this one? B-list celebrities.
I think you have the opportunity. I think so. A lot of stuff with celebrity stuff. I think I'm not sure how useful this conversation is. This is all brainstorming, right? So let me start there.
Yeah, we're just brainstorming here.
I think there's a lot more bang for the buck with having very targeted lists and even doing hand given type gifts, right? The
more targeted, the better, right? But if I could say B-list celebrities who are into crypto, like that would be better, right?
So I would caveat that. This is just my opinion, right? I would caveat as B-list celebrities that are within our circle of influence coming out of the culture. Was that
fair enough?
We got some B-list celebrities. Sorry, celebribrities.
We
already have B-list celebrities that are part of the chain, and I would say there's an angle to work through them to spread them out through their network. Yes.
Like, who would you call a B-list celebrity who's part of the chain?
I'm not going to say because then they'll get me.
But
we have NFL players, we have NBA players,
okay,
we got
players.
Like that. We've got musicians. I mean, they're all waiting, like they're all feeling the pain, like the rest of us, waiting to see if this thing comes out. But a lot of them have been pretty active too, and so why not?
Cool.
Why not go through them and be like,
oh, that'd be great. If
but that's more.
if you have a way to make that happen, please do.
That's more word of mouth, like because some of us are in groups with some of them, and you talk to them on occasion. It's not mass production, right? Just instances of things. But I think that's an angle. But I think you go back to the basics. I think the basics are covered really good, which is like come up with a likely list. People who who have availability of money and are more likely than others to actually try it. Those are the two people.
Yes. Because obviously you hit the general population, you're going to get some hits, but like if you can multiply that number by hitting the right people, it's good. Mm-hmm. Well, let's continue.
Now, as you get to the next one in conjunction with professors of economics and computer science. I don't want to use his name unless he wants to come talk about it, or whatever. But somebody was talking to me about creating a street team. And a street team would be somebody on the street. You have a street team to do promotions, right? Some people aren't familiar with the term.
Totally.
And one of the targets are like, I don't know if you guys get it, but every summer we get college students to get paid, whatever, $20 a day, $50 a day, go house to house or whatever. And so, you know what? I do stop and watch some of these stupid viral videos that I see where people are giving stuff away in the street or whatever, and they're in Berkeley or whatever, San Francisco. I mean, so there's street team possibilities with, colleges, universities.
It would be all about the where you were giving it away.
Yeah. So again,
it needs to be coordinated. Like it has to be like somebody who actually has experience doing that needs to run it and set it up and write the script and do all the things.
Yeah. Somebody would have to run it and do the hire and all that. But I mean, in not elementary school, guys, and we're probably not going to community college. Though community college would be a great way to do it. Yeah, so I mean, we go down through a pretty endless list of possibilities. I think probably another. I'll let you continue with your list, but the other is the fact that anybody brings up an idea. That might be a reason to do it, right? Because if somebody's willing to actually go take action, that might be better than all the ideas that nobody takes action on, right?
But bringing up an idea and taking action are definitively different things. I get a lot of feedback from people with great ideas who are unwilling to implement the ideas themselves. They want me to do it. They want you to do it. They want Richard to do it. But they're never in a position to do it. Yeah. There's exceptions. There's lots of people who are willing to do it and are asking for some sort of support, and that's fair.
I think these are, basically what you have here is what I would call a communication plan stakeholder list. It may not be all inclusive, but because I'm pretty geeky, so my approach to the project would be make a list like this and break it down a couple different ways, weight it and score it, and come up with a list and start at the top and start communicating.
This is why I'm talking to you about it, Crispy. Like, how would you weight this list? Like, what of these groups are the strongest ones to target?
Yeah. Well, you probably use what's the term that I'm looking for? There's an actual term for this. RACI. Yeah, I probably use a RACI for it. And RACI is just kind of like a mechanism. Say, is this person going to? All right. So this idea presented vanilla, right? You give them the pitch. They're going to be pro. They're going to be con. They're going to be neutral.
Yeah.
Right. That would be one angle on it, and another angle on it. Almost nobody has power to hurt what we're doing, but there are a few people that could. But then you might also rank people or groups or whatever the idea is by, can they really help a lot or can they hurt, or are they just neutral, right? And
Yep.
so you're kind of like trying to figure out the power they have over the situation, stakeholder power, or
I like my instinct was to narrow down the groups further from like these are like broad strokes. Like the further the more you can close in. Like if you look at like let's say that I put tech folks and I gave Kim as an example, but like if you could narrow down the tech industries where people have some sort of computer experience where they're more likely to interact, and like you could get very very specific on the ideal candidate from each group and then try to expand that, right? Like in the I put finance professionals, especially stock and options traders, but maybe there's something more specific that I don't understand in that realm where it'd be like, okay, the best ones are the guys who trade pork bellies all day because they do this. Like there's probably some way to narrow it so focused that you could really target those people.
In theory, yeah, you could come all the way down from top to bottom, decompose each level, until you get to the base common denominator. But a lot of you wouldn't need to. It'd just be enough to be like, hey, I don't even know if they have desk guys anymore at these financial firms, different trading desks. I don't know what the terminology is or whatever. But maybe it's just as simple as, you're going to send a dozen to each one of the trading houses, because you decided you weren't going to go that far. And they have a dozen desks. And so, one's going to go to Forex.
That'd be fantastic. You put this on your trading desk and you use it to write down, the stock that you're looking at. With an erasable screen, here's one for each trading desk in your office. How long before those guys go to the website on their break?
Yeah. You just want to get the stuff out there. I wouldn't overthink it too crazy, though I would overthink it during the planning. But once you got past that, you just recognize that I probably don't need to know everybody's name, right? For the general approach, we just want to get it out to this group, this type of people, and go.
If you can get a name, though, you're going to increase your open rate of a package exponentially.
But that's more like that kind of not word of mouth, but like the personal touch, concierge approach. But you can't distribute. Well, I guess you could, but I don't think it's probably economically feasible to distribute a million of these concierge stuff.
To distribute a million where? Sorry,
a million of these concierge stuff.
Not by hand, but like USPS offers a delivery service for very little money, right?
Oh yeah, you could do that, but what I mean by concierge, a lot of time and effort in trying to boil down all the way to a name, a specific person. Now you can buy the list, right? Which is kind of what they did a little bit, right? I don't know what they did over there on this project, but like when we were doing the postcards.
We know that Gabrielle received one addressed to him. That was obviously a more expensive, probably a test, but if you could narrow that down, like I think buying the list, finding the list, getting it to specific people with specific names, ideally, but if you can't do that, then hit as close as you can. You're going to increase your effectiveness rate exponentially versus any sort of mass mailer to a neighborhood.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I'm not particularly offended if I received one and it wasn't to me personally. So I'm not particularly offended if it came like everybody in the neighborhood got one. But yeah, I get you.
But
I get you.
What are the chances of you taking action?
The bottom line is if you're in your project, right, you've come to the assessment that, or the opinion that it needs to be labeled to a person, you have to have people's names. So now you got to go figure out how to get the people's names and what names.
Yeah, sounds like work.
To personalize it. Yeah, so it's on that one.
But 90% planning, 10% execution is, I think, what would make something like this really fly, right? Spend time and money getting the right people.
But I still go back to, there's lists available that you can get.
Sure.
And you can find lists of people that live in neighborhoods anyways.
Yeah, especially if you narrow down one of these groups, esports professionals, get their names, get their addresses, you could do it.
Yeah, well, that's a whole project in its own. A lot of people are jackasses that might respond. But you could have like a clearinghouse of from the pulse chain of just, hey guys, let's use our brains. Who are the people you know of? And you pass out people's names and addresses. This kind of sucks. But here, go to this site and put that name and address in. Boom, 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 and have it go through some sort of rigorous process to decide you're going to keep it.
Yeah, you could crowdsource those names and addresses. That's an interesting idea. And there is like software to verify that an address and name are correct, like via like the postal services. So yeah, crowdsourcing names, that could be cool.
I like that. Chris Kringle might not appreciate 300,000. These up there, but yeah, I get that. But there's also, isn't there some discount over the fact that they are distributed not to people's specific names in mailing? Isn't it cheaper to do resident?
It's cheaper to do like unaddressed ad mail. Now I'm using Canadian terms, but I've looked at the documents, all the same thing. Like unaddressed ad mail is cheaper per piece than addressed ad mail. But if you're doing it in bulk, right, like you're sending out 10,000 plus pieces to specific people, specific addresses, it is a steep discount to what you'd pay for a stamp to do the same thing. So I think you're looking at 30 cents a piece with that format to send them to specific people with a name on it.
Yeah.
So and the unaddressed, I don't have a number off the top of my head, but I doubt it's half of that, right? And when you look at the cost of acquiring the piece, shipping it to the United States, getting volunteers to handle it, to pay an extra 10 cents, let's say, to get it to a specific person rather than a random person, selected with the random ones are still selected like from their area, like computer, like she lives probably in Silicon Valley or something. They're still good leads, but that specific one for 10 cents more, I would take it all day long.
Oh yeah. I'm just not part of that. I'm internal process. I don't know what's happening with it. But
nor am I. Only speculation.
I just recognize that it would be, I know. But I mean, just recognize it might be different in person. I like those couple of different ideas. I just think about my friends, and yes, I have friends and relatives. Just what the response would be to receiving one of these things, and if I'm handing it to them by hand, versus if it just shows up in their mailbox because I dropped their address in. Anyways, I don't know. There might be room for crowdsourcing. I mean, to be able to do that. But again, it's kind of fun because we might be able to work the internal, group of us. I think there's some other marketing things I think we could definitely be doing to crowdsource. But sticking to this particular
marketing outside of these tablets, you're saying?
Yeah. But let's stay on this topic.
That's a crazy idea.
I don't want to take away from it, but I mean, I think it still comes back down to probably mail distribution. Supplemented with shows maybe. Where there's somebody who's willing to put up a pulse chain desk and hand them out, or some other of these efforts maybe that people come up with.
Big conferences, like big ETH conferences, have a table and everybody walks away with one of those things like that. That'd be fantastic targeting.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go sit at a table handing those out at the CES next year. But when is CES? Is it coming up in January?
Yes.
I don't even know if we could do that. It's Consumer Electronics Show.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I forget when that is. It's in Vegas. I've never been to that one. I always wanted to go. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of fun stuff to go to.
Yeah.
Good talking a lot about crypto. It's like RG3's always said. Someday we'll be talking in front of stadiums, maybe.
Man.
Our chat went to sleep or something. I haven't seen a message pop up. You see any messages pop up? Either
No,
that
no.
we might be
It could be the
offline.
tech, or it could be that we're not that enticing tonight.
It was super boring. I'd like
We
to
should be
tell you
more
that
exciting.
the number of views. I'd like to tell you it was 369, but it was 389.
Okay. Well, it was 369 at one point in that case,
Yeah,
then, right?
yeah, went through that. Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate you sharing that. It was good list of stuff. But yeah, dudes. I think we need to see some price action to the upside. Volume's been lowish, not terrible. Things are chugging along. We got X game getting ready to launch. Had the solid HEX, solid index area. That should be kind of exciting. We talked a bit about LPX last week from the Up and Up X guys, and so that's been going along pretty good. Just kind of watching that. Lots of controversy. That's been fun.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard some fight about it, but overall, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, I wish there was a golden bullet, so to speak.
What would the gold bullet be?
That I just buy something and it only goes up. And then I could sell it at 10,000 So I had it. But these things have to work through their process. Maybe you have something on this. I'm supposed to go talk to, maybe meet up with what the HEX guys Thursday, and they were asking if I had any insight on Hyperlane versus what's the other one? Versus Liberty Swap.
Right.
And some sort of beef. And like I don't even pay attention to stuff.
Totally different things.
I don't even know what's going on, but is there something we need to know though?
Not really. Like Liberty Swap is not a bridge. That's the bottom line. Right? It's more or less a custom cross-chain swap. Like you give them funds on base and they already have funds on Pulse, and they give you those funds in a quicker timeline than you'd be able to bridge it yourself. Whereas Hyperlane, much like the RH bridge, is a direct bridge to Pulse chain where you can bridge a token through their bridging protocol. The original token on the original chain ends up living in that bridge until it gets redeemed when somebody bridges back. Or that's my understanding. I may not be 100% technically accurate, but that's kind of how bridges work. And Liberty Swap is not a bridge. There's no contest. It's just different stuff for different people, depending on what you're trying to do. So I think Liberty Swap's been great at, garnering adoption and making things easy. I recommended Liberty Swap to somebody the other day, a specific person who was like, how can I get onto Pulse Chain? And I thought about it. I looked at, what I thought that person was trying to do. And I was like, yeah, this is the easiest one. And I believe it was for that person, for their situation, it was the easiest one. And Hyperlane probably wouldn't have been as easy for what they were doing that day. But if I had somebody who wanted to bridge on $14 million, I'd probably push them towards the RH bridge as my most trusted source for big monies. But yeah, I am interested in, Hyperlane being an alternative bridge. That's not a terrible plan. I just don't think it's the end all and be all just yet. There's room to grow.
No, thanks. Yeah, I really haven't been following at all, so I don't even know. I mean, I'm just aware because I've seen some of the messages out there.
Yep, and I think the Hex Scout guys, they reached out, to Hyperlane, and somebody sponsored Hyperlane for $50,000 to basically offer free bridging back and forth to Pulse Chain for 2 years, I believe was the timeline, which is cool. And then they have USDC, Hyperlane USDC coming through that can be used on Pulse Chain. And the Tide guys have picked it up, and there's a decent sized pool getting bigger, but I'm not quite sure what problem it solves, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
that wasn't
Yeah,
already
well,
solved by the RH bridge.
Yeah, in terms, well, I think it's good to have alternatives, right? So,
Yeah, more is
I mean,
better.
there's,
Redundancy is better. Yeah.
I mean, I think the alternatives are good. I guess I can't say more is always better because sometimes things aren't as safe. But, I thought I'd throw this up there to show you real quick. This is that token I was telling you about before. It's a pump tires token that sold off to almost to zero. That's been brought back to life. It's the Quattro HEX.com diamond.
Okay.
The blue line is the LPX. So this is when the LPX went into place for that. And if I go over into pulse terms and just kind of look at it, there's not a lot of difference yet. It says it's all-time high against pulse, but this has been a kind of an experiment of mine. I like the brand, right? Obviously, I'm using Quattro all the time. It's was an abandoned pump.tire, so there's a good amount of pulse that's locked in the pool. Community guy kind of came around and bought this up, and then a whole bunch of it's in the LPX. There's about almost as much Quattro in the LPX as in the LP pool, and now it's kind of going along. But if I go down the dollar level, or not dollar level, the hour level, do you see something different about this section of the chart versus the previous section? Lots and lots of
more of a pattern.
Yeah, and lots more.
He's buying those dips. Like those wicks are getting bought up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Who's
so this one was LPX. Yeah, there was a combination between LPX and the fact that it's also got an LP. Somebody put an LP up with X Game. And so Hex Game's been going nuts, and so that probably has some sort of difference with it because it's been, X Game, what did it do? It did like a 5x over 4.
It's going to create volatility anyway to have that there.
Yeah, but I have a thesis that there's a whole bunch of value that's tied up in these pools for the abandoned pump tires that are out there, and I'm just looking for a way to crack those open eventually and put them to use.
Like how much value? Like if a token is abandoned, like really, like the guy who launched it sold all his tokens, and it's really low. How much pulse is locked in?
At this level, there's probably not that much. It's like $2,000, right? Worth of pulse at these prices.
$2,000. Okay, that's not nothing, and that's $2,000 at today's price.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just that over time, you see that, but I mean, it probably goes beyond this too. It's just the pump tires ones are good ones to look at because they're a little bit more controlled in how the distribution went out. Anyways, I just got a theory that there's ways to reclaim that. So I'm looking at LPX for that and how that might support, because even though people can't quite do it, we only have a few of the pump tires tokens. Pump, of course, is out there. Top Hat is on LPX. Picnic.
Yep.
Is out there. I mean, there's a couple of them there.
We're just watching. Expanding, eh? There's quite a few more on there than we're on day one.
Oh, yeah, the LPX list?
Yep.
You want to share it or you want me to share it? I don't know if you're looking at it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm going to pull it up.
The Vibra Finance in the house. I see you, Hex Wizard 369. Brian Magruder, I see you too.
Hey, Brian. Brian's here. I got to put on a hat. 1 sec.
All right. Yeah, wall-to-wall TV, you're right. FTX did sponsor stadiums. Maybe we can get FTX to sponsor us. No,
that'd be great. We can shill some leveraged trading links. That's totally our style. Okay. Yeah. LPX step. Here we are.
All right, let's go.
Wait, the list. I don't even know what some of these are.
Yeah, you do. The P.
I don't know
what APC is. That's new. That's a new one.
Yeah, I've heard of this ink dollar to die. Would you mind commenting on that one?
Yeah, did you see my message to you on that?
I
Sorry.
saw
So
you.
yeah,
You were talking about the APR.
yeah. So here's my assessment of Inc D, which is Inc dollar versus DAI. V3, I think pretty consistently you can earn 12 to 14% APR, but you have to do some sort of active management of it, and that's something that interests me because I'm looking for at some point how do people make yield on stable to stable, so I can do certain stables, not Inc DAI, um, and the stable LP for PulseChain, but the APR value, varies between 4 and 10% depending on what people are doing. Now, all of that can change with volume, right? But kind of like
any of these things can get diluted, right? Like, if you're
yeah,
making 25% APR, somebody else catches on, guess what? You're not making 25% APR anymore. It's a bit of a musical chairs game sometimes if you really want to do the big numbers on stable coins.
yeah, and I think this has the opportunity to maybe make a difference in the chain, beyond just providing value. So we're going to wait and see. This is the first. Stable to stable pool that's put out there. My observational information is showing me it's earning about 9% APR at the moment. Inc D to DAI. So that's what it's producing. And I would look for it to do more. And I know that they're making adjustments to that contract and how it's working. I don't have all the details. You have to go check out the LPX guys.
What kind of target would you have? Like, what's a great number to see for APR and stables to stables?
Well, I like 50% now, but
15%.
5-0. But I
50,
think
50%. Okay, that's a good number.
well, you asked what would I like to see. I mean, I like 100%
Well,
too.
I'd like to see 400%, but
I did see 400% for a while on that.
Okay.
But then that went away because people, when there's not volume and whatnot. But I would say, listen, 20% is 20% is Charlie Munger, Berkshire Hathaway territory, right?
Yeah, that's 20% is rich people investment money. That's the number I've heard. Yeah.
That's the kind of number that I like. That's my goal. But it's a stretch goal. 12% I think is what I'm shooting for Inc D and DAI. And I shared that with you from what we've been seeing because if you can't beat the V3 with an LPX, why would I do it? It's conditional, guys. I'm just making like a comment. Not telling people what to do. It's just conditional on the circumstances, and I could be like totally wrong. Like in a market that's very slow, maybe they're neck and neck. But when the velocity,
this could be lower learning curve as well, though, right? Like depositing into LPX is pretty easy. Setting a V3 range correctly, harder for some, I would argue.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it type stuff. People like that.
Oh, look at that X Games, man. You still look at the stop right there at the X Games.
Yeah, we got two pairs.
So
two pairs are the same.
Dude,
what's with that?
This one went nuts. I'm not part of the inside team of understanding what was going on with us, but there was a lot of trading between Solid X and X Game, and X Game was up at 220,000 DAI, and now it's down to 48K. It looks like, or no, 48, not 48K, 48.
Yeah.
So X Game went way up, and it filled up the LPX anchor, and now it's going way down. And as it went down, it deployed that and bought the X Game down.
So it sold all the way up and it bought all the way down, right? And probably you have a better chart because of that, I would suspect.
Yeah, I'd have to go check the impermanent loss. I bet people are in permanent gain at this point. They almost have to be, but it's probably pretty close. When that opened, it was single sided, and so if they put 1,000 tokens in, they probably got more than 1,000.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good concept. Like, of course, if that's what you wanted, if you're trying to sell out, then a different path may have been better. But if you're trying to acquire more tokens and you did that while making arbitrage yield, and while helping the chart when it compounded, and you end up with more X Game tokens, if that was your goal, I bet you these people won. Do you know why there's two pools that appear to be the same here? Like, why is there X game
Oh
die?
yeah, they're two different setups. One is I think you can click on it and I'll show you on the screen. One is 50-50, where 50% of whatever profit is generated, and profit being generated, by the way, is not the die that ends up in the pool. Yeah, you won't see it unless you're connected, so don't bother.
Yeah, I think I'm not signed in, so it's not showing me.
Yeah, so the first one is a 50-50, I believe. So 50% of the profit stays in the contract and gets applied on the cycles. The other 50% of the profit gets set aside for the user. But guys, the profit isn't you sold and got die. That isn't all. That is not profit. It's just a little tiny piece of that is actually dedicated to profit. You got to go do more research on it. But anyways, it sets it aside. The second one is 100% profit. There's no compound. That's my
okay.
So meaning if it generates a profit, you get 100% of the profit.
Fair enough.
So it's not compounding, but that can all change, and there could be more, and And we were looking at the X games, not the Solid X. We were talking about that. The Solid X ones each have their own profile. There's a really good document by the LPX guys and some of the people. Kind of explains what the idea is behind all the Solid X stuff. I won't do it justice if I talk about it. So this has been really interesting development, to be added to tools. One of the concerns people come up with right away is like, well, now that you got this, everybody will just do LPX. No, we don't want that. Me personally, and I'm not part of the team, so I can say this.
No, I wouldn't want things to be a liquid because of this. That's obviously
I don't think you'd have that concern though. Right? Like everybody's not going to do one thing. That's number one. And then
realistically, they're gonna there's going to be advantages and disadvantages, and some things LPX itself could get diluted yield because too many people participated, which means people are going to move somewhere else. The musical chairs continue, but this is a piece of the puzzle that as a top 5%er in crypto, I would want to know.
Yeah, I think so too. I throw this at you too. Let me ask you this question. I made this comment the other day, and maybe I frame it up wrong. I'll ask you to give me your opinion. So then somebody else was like, well, no, you just don't even need, you can't, these things aren't going to be able to make money after a while. And I suppose technically it's possible. But, the idea was like, well, no, we've got things like Tide. And of course we have 2P HEX bucks. And, we have other pools and stuff out there. And it just seems to me, particularly when I was talking about the stables at the time, it just seems to me that the over collateralization that's needed is so damn big, meaning you need that 1,000%, over collateralization, 1,500% or whatever.
Like on liquidity forks.
Yeah, how are you gonna? Liquidity forks are a different animal though. But I mean, how do you really have that much value in pools that there's no price impact? I mean, you got to you got to bring a lot of value in. That's my opinion. Like we need
like stables. Yeah, you need a whole bunch to make it work good.
Like $500 million to make a dent, right? Otherwise, I shouldn't say make a dent, but I mean it'd be significantly less. I mean, and the people who brought that in would have to be willing to say, yeah, I'm going to bring in 100 million DAI. And 100 million USDC in deploy.
Just to support the chain, those people are going to get some yield, obviously, but
people
ultimately,
do it.
When you're talking those numbers, it's a support thing.
Yeah, some people do it right now, but they're earning on it.
Yeah,
and so it should. I think there's no lack of opportunity. I guess that's where I'm landing. No lack of opportunity in what's out there. Let me talk about actuator roll-up because we talked about last week. The week is up on actuator. Let's see. This is
What's going on there?
Do you remember talking about it last week? I brought it up.
Yeah, they got the.
Well, they had launched their new HTTs, HEX time tokens. The 4,000s. Yeah, the 4,000s and the 6,000s, and we are now getting close to those going into the pools. So I'll share you my screen. I've been doing all sorts of alerts and stuff on this. This has been fun this week. Just trying, like setting up for my group different things that they could see with actuators, the information changes. So for a refresher for everybody, when we talk about actuator is a protocol that it's a bond. It's a hex bond is really what it is. And so you can put HSIs up as collateral and mint HTTs. And HTT is a hex in the future. It's just a hex in the future. And so
one HTT
there's
opportunities.
One hex, right? Yep. And at its redemption day, which is the number that's included there. So you can kind of see the list here, and then I'll make it a little bigger so we can see this. If I can make my screen bigger, then you can see it. So they actually have on their dashboard at actuator.finance the discount to hex and the different opportunities. Like their 3,000 is discounted at 14%, the 4,000 at 23%, 5,000 at 39%, the 6,000 at 23%, the 7,000 at 50%. And what we can do is we can kind of look at it and figure out what it should be, what the discount should be. We can figure that out. And we know that the discount is too cheap, right? So the HTT 7,000, for instance, is too cheap, which means if somebody wants cheaper hex in the future, they just go buy the HTT 7,000 off the market and hold it. And they just end up with more hex than they had before. So that's an angle on that. But yeah, so you can see the different ones that are here. And they have, I'm actually doing an AMA tomorrow on actuator for
We are. Okay, good. I'll try to tune in for that if I can, because I understand probably better than most people, but I still don't feel like I'm at a complete level of understanding like I used to be with icosahedron, which took me a while.
Yeah, it takes it. Well, this is a deep topic, So I mean, anyways, but the high level is, hey, if you want to get cheap hex, buy the HTTs when they're underpriced on the market. But what I was looking at specifically was the idea that we've got this 4,000. It's got a pool now of about 9K, and the HTT 6,000 pool of about 11K. So that's come up, and tomorrow, or actually today at the end of the day, I believe at UTC turnover, Quattro Zero, right?
Yep.
Their farms get loaded, and they haven't been loaded yet, but they'll be loaded. And
when they are, the APRs will start out high, right? Because that's how those farms work.
Yeah, I mean, people already got some value in there, so they kind of, they probably won't be as high as they could have been, but yeah, I would expect double digit as it goes.
Yep.
And so they'll get added here, and then what people do is they earn actuator is the token.
Yep. That token has utility
for farming. Well, yeah, because if somebody's going to mint the token, the actuator vaults get 1% of the token as a payout, and so there's an incentive for that. But yeah, there's a lot of detail to it. But for those people who have been following it and interested in it, two easy plays are one, buy HTTs when the prices are down against hex, and it's a good opportunity because you just get more hex later. But a lot of people already loaded, right? So maybe they don't want to do that. And then the second opportunity for anybody who has actuator is to actually go deposit in the actuator vaults and just earn free HTTs. I mean, well, not free, but I mean, you had the actuator in the first place. But you drop them in the vault, and it'll just accrue HTTs as people print it. Come back in a couple of years. Those are two easy, no nonsense plays. The rest of them, there's about 30 different strategies I can come up with. Probably need a lot more discussion, kind of explain what they are.
Yeah, no, it is. Most people are going to need multiple discussions to really understand what's going on there.
Yeah, it's been a fun protocol to watch. I love it because it's all hex based. you know. And so I look at it this way, like, how could I get hurt by having an HTT? I can't. It's HEX. It's backed by HEX. Immutable contract, right? So one HEX is going to be one HEX. So can't lose per se. I could do some dumb stuff, but I just mean in terms of like buying and holding the cheap HTT. Why not? I just do that. Gives me exposure. It helps somebody else. Helps somebody wanted to get liquidity. And then, I benefit from it because now I got this placeholder, HEX for the future. And then the other part of it is actuator. I was laughing when the guy said to me, he said, well, you haven't been in actuator very long. I said, yeah. Well, it didn't really ring a bell for me until March. Because I think it was March, we went to Vegas, right? It was in March. Anyways, I didn't until I sat with Bill and I got an idea. I got the idea. I was like, all of a sudden I started, my brain like made these new connections. I was like, I started developing these neural pathways. And I was
Bill's pretty patient with his explanations.
Yeah, well, I didn't understand it the first 4 months. But here's the funny thing. Somebody said that to me. So we didn't get into March. Well, I was in early, like day one when I heard about it. But I went and bought, as I would do, $50 worth of actuator. I was sitting on the actuator for like months. I don't know what I was doing. Well, why do I have it? Well, this is just really important. You should have it, guys. Well, yeah. Well, I did nothing with it. But then once I finally listened to myself and went and looked at the research, I was supposed to put it in the vault. If I put it in the vault, I would have been earning HTTs all the time, free HEX. Instead, I just held the token. It does. Sometimes it behooves you to do a little bit of research on this stuff.
It does. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes you can go down a rabbit hole and there's nothing at the bottom. But I think with actuator, it's worth checking to see how many rabbits are in that hole.
Yeah, and I'm happy to explain to people if they were interested in doing more. I get a bunch of videos now too that are on the channel that I did on this, and there's lots of opportunity. It's a hard topic, and here's the thing with like a lot of other things, a lot of the strategies and stuff that I come up with that I'm working on, $5 a day strategies, right? Or they appear to be smaller than they could be, and people kind of dismiss that stuff. But remember, we go into the future, an HTT is going to go up with HEX. Whatever HEX is, it's going up. HEX does 100X. HTTs are doing 100X. Well, Crispy, you don't know that. You're right. I don't know for sure, but primary liquidity is with HEX. And so it's going up 100X if HEX goes up 100X. Now, somebody may decide to sell it, but and then it'll be a little bit less. But all of a sudden, you could be in a situation where HEX is like super, super expensive. And people are like, I don't want to sell my HEX. I want because I don't want to lose that position. Well, let me put it into a Quattro Cinco stake because it's like super expensive. And I'm going to mint 200,000 HTT 7000s. Well, there's liquidity with HTT 7000s, right? So you can go mint your 7000s, go sell them at the top, to get the price on HEX, and then you be the guy who comes in, comes in at the bottom and buys them back at the bottom, right? So there's a good speculation play like that. I mean, I don't normally tell people trade or whatnot, but I know there's some people.
You're looking to acquire more HEX, like units of HEX, like that speculation could be very lucrative if that's how you measure success.
Yeah. Well, and then there's another one too. Like right now, of course, always dependent conditionally, but there's the infinite money printer glitch with actuator.
Ooh,
how would that happen? Well, remember I said that they have this discount to HEX. Well, if there's no discount to HEX, where the discount's very low, little tiny discount, you can print or mint a certain token and has more value than it should. And so let's say you mint 100,000 HTT 6000s, but they're the same price as HEX. Right? So you make a stake, you print your 6000s, then you swap them for more HEX.
Okay,
and
a
then,
1-to-1 ratio, like
yeah, and then you
okay.
turn around and you print more,
And
right?
then
So,
at what point in that equation do I win?
well, you get more. You basically are creating a leverage position on the hex. It's kind
Right,
of
but
similar.
I sold my HTTs for hex, meaning that
But
I
you
gave up
still,
the right to that
but
future hex. Like
but
where is it
you
more?
still own them. You still own them. They're still
Yep.
yours. You come back at any time.
But I need to wait for them to be on discount and then I can buy them back.
You could do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, essentially,
what is the other way?
essentially,
That's the only way I
essentially,
understand.
yeah. I guess you're probably right about that. Well, you could just never come back. Some people do that too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you remember the whole liquid loans conversations? I always give people bad information, so I probably don't get too much in there. But there's some certain people never wanted to redeem. Never wanted to come back and get their stuff, right? As you probably less have seen than easily.
Yeah, no, definitely some people use these things as an exit mechanism, and that's valid.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so like some of this stuff I maybe am not qualified to talk about exactly, but I'm giving you my understanding of this infinite kind of money printing, where if the demand was such for one of those tokens, you just keep swapping it for more hex, and then first you start out with one Quattro Cinco, you got the same number of hex, you got another Quattro Cinco, you get the same number of hex. You get another Quattro Cinco. All those are your Quattro Cincos, right? And all you need to do is pay them back, right? So yeah, one option would be at the lows. The other option would be maybe and this would have to do with the bond curve market, but you'd be able to right before you don't want those stakes back. Right before you could print another one that has good value and use those to get the ones you really need to pay yours back. That's another strategy. Right? And then even beyond that, some people do the actuator in the pool. Well, they're earning that token they need to put back. So they're earning it over time as other people mint, and perhaps they pay back their loan that way. So there's lots of little games to play. Actually, in a lot of ways, it's very similar to the liquidity fork game of sorts, right? But yeah, those are a couple of the things. There are a lot of different strategies that could be developed. But you don't even have to take my word for it. Go look up bond markets and bond curves and bond trading.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Bond trading curves.
Bond trading curves. Okay.
Bond
trading curves. It doesn't sound exciting. I gotta tell you.
No, it's probably not for all of us guys. That's what, but there's some simpler stuff that people can do.
I can plot
I'll get
interest rates, bonds over time. Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's there's one that somebody pointed out to me where, hey, you have a bond, you have a HEX HTT bond, call it a bond for a second, and it's a 7,000. Well, if you can swap that one for 3,000,
yeah,
you basically
I've done that.
You're doing a time strategy, right? Where you're changing your time frame, right? So you had a million of them that were going to be coming out in 14 years. Well, now you got a million that are coming out in 2 years because the market did something that made it possible for you to do that.
The new farms launching may create a window where such things are possible. And I did some of that swapping, like 3,000s for 5,000s and stuff like that with actuator in the past, because people would be like, oh, this is paying whatever 79% yield, and the 3,000 HTTs that have been around for a while are only paying 23% yield, and people will buy up the HTT 7,000s instead. Which could result in an opportunity to swap your 7,000s for 3,000s, which is a way better deal in terms of when you get paid.
Yeah, 100%.
You really got to be on it on stuff like that, though, unless you have some sort of tool where you've set a limit order, or maybe even a liquidity option where you could choose to pull the liquidity at a certain time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be done in all this, but I mean, right now, right? So maybe this is how I think, right? So this one probably wrong. I'm like, I'm not going to make that trade for $2, right? I'm like, why would I,
Yeah.
you know, but whatever. But if it's 100x or greater, all of a sudden pennies or dollars or tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars, then maybe I'm interested in some of these things. I'm willing to do that. Whatever. I'm just making up like something. I'm just saying that the value that we're talking about could change so greatly and go up so greatly that now it makes sense that a lot of people want to do it. Earning 1% on $100 is $1. Earning 1% on a million is 10,000. Totally different kind of
Sure.
Type of a swing, right? So. All right. I don't see. I see one final thing. Let's close out on this because we already did talk about it. I was talking.
What do we got?
We talked about it already, but let's just close out on this guy. What are your thoughts on the OA moving some ETH recently?
It's a good one.
What's our assessment? Yeah. What's your assessment?
We are bullish, or I can only speak for myself. I am bullish on the OA moving ETH. Based on the volume of ETH, based on what I think happened to ETH that was previously moved, I'm bullish on that concept. It makes me happy. I'm mystified why people aren't buying more based on the information that I believe is readily available.
Yeah. Well, in a hype perspective, it would appear that if there was ever a time, right, hype could do it. And I came at it, Mr. Up token. I came at it from the other angle. All my indicators are telling me that's a great time to buy the course, man. And of course, I'm thinking about HEX in particular. And,
yep.
I mean, I know people are down about it. We all feel kind of shitty about the price and all this, but dudes, you might not have been here for it, but the prices were low in the beginning. And even now, it's a pretty good deal if you had gotten in the beginning of HEX. I know everybody didn't. I know that's a shitty thing, but what I'm getting at is, yeah, Bitcoin was $1. You could have bought 12-cent ETH. You could have gotten, a million HEX for 1 ETH, right? You didn't. I didn't. But it happened. And so maybe we're seeing some other things that might happen like that. But it's never financial advice. I can't even tell you it's really going to happen. I don't know.
It's all wild speculation by guys, wearing hats with camels in the background on the internet. So
yeah. I mean, I think it always comes down to this. Again, you get to make your own choices, but some action is better than inaction. Like some people will be like, 100x ain't really good. It's not enough. Well, you know what? If you were able to figure out how to turn, $1,000 up 100x on the regular, you'd be doing pretty damn good, man. Let me tell you. I mean, I don't know very many people who are six figures even after taxes hurts. I mean, it's a pretty good number.
Yep.
But whatever. All right, my friend. Let's see if I'm going to try to play the outro and get out of here. I don't know. It failed on the way in.
But you put your odds at 50%.
You saw the outro, huh?
I saw the intro or whatever you played at the start. I saw it. You were talking in the background, which was hilarious. You're like, why isn't it working and stuff like that? But it was working. I think everybody saw it except for you.
Yeah. Did you did I show you this last week? I don't know. I might not have had it. Let me turn this. Let me try and see if I can share this one thing. Man, they changed the buttons and now I'm like a boomer again. It's like, what am I doing? Did you see this Good Morning actuator video? Let me see if I can play it.
I have not seen the Good Morning actuator video. I'm excited. Oh, look at that. Ooh, this may be copyright material.
Locked in a hex, stakes on freeze, dreaming of liquidity, begging please. PulseChain vibes, Richard's chain. Actuator drops, bringing the rain. Those artititas minting back on 1-to-1. Fungible fire.
So is that killing you with sound too loud?
Actually, my sound on my setup is kind of messed up. So no, it's not too loud at all. I don't think you're blasting the audience either.
All right, guys. I don't know. I'm a boomer, man, so I don't even know how this thing works. So I didn't realize it would start right away. So I'll turn it down a little bit. But probably because I have my sound up all the way on myself.
Yeah. In this case, you are the problem.
Discount hex fire, fixed return so sweet from that actor can't be beat. Actuator, unlock the flow. Hex time tokens, watch them grow.
So that's from our buddy Rip City HEX, man.
Yeah, good job,
Rip
AJ.
City Pulse, Rip City AJ. You know what I'm talking about.
I just call him AJ.
Yeah, but he has pretty good videos. It made me laugh when I saw it. You know.
Yep.
Maybe I should play that as an outro. But it actually feels a lot longer than it is. Not bad.
It was good though. Entertaining.
Yeah, I recommend people, if you're interested in getting something made, you made that on the fly, so that's a good one. But he does work for different projects and stuff. So if somebody's looking for something, you know, check out his stuff. Oh, we'll go from there. All right, I see the repost. I guess that's it. So I'm actually going to push the button, man. You dare me? I'll push the button.
I don't think you're going to do it, man. You're lying.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
all right, everybody. You guys stay crispy. We'll come back next week. We'll try to stay out of trouble during this week. Let's all win. We're gonna win. We're all gonna win.
Deal.
And treat your camel well. Camel. Treat your camel well.
You want me to do what to my cam to where?
Yeah. Be nice to it. All right, guys. We'll see you.